So yeah, the title is true. I did get a nose job. Sort of. Hi guys, welcome back to Kin and Tonic.
Welcome back.
As you can see by the title of this episode, I'm going to talk a little bit about some recent events. Today's episode is going to be very update heavy. We have a few kind of announcements and things that will happen in the future for this podcast, and just what our life's been a little bit like for the last few weeks. First, before we get into that, what are we drinking today, Chloe?
So we are drinking berry drops, I guess you could say. So I muddled some fresh berries and added some fresh lemon juice. I had this like limoncello seltzer. That's the base of what I'm drinking. And so is Grace, except she's got a little extra touch with that vodka. So, and we rimmed it with this like lemon drop salt. So yeah, cheers to that.
Cheers. And also a reminder, on our official Instagram, Kin and Tonic Podcast, I do post the recipe cards about a day or two before the next episode drops. That way, if you want to sip with us, you definitely can. And I post both the cocktail and mocktail version. So check us out. All the links will be in the description below. So should we just get right into it?
Well, should we tell them I'm leaving the podcast? Get that out the way.
Yeah, so I mean, just rip the Band-Aid off. So it is true.
Temporarily. Obviously, it's not a big surprise that, since we started the podcast, I've been pregnant. And with maternity leave coming up here shortly, I've already been on maternity leave with my actual job, but we wanted to film like one little like update podcast for you guys so you know what to expect moving forward.
So you don't get surprised, because while Chloe is on maternity leave, and there is no definite time, I definitely want her, this is her first child, and, I just want her to be at a spot where she's ready, especially because we do film at Chloe's place. So I just want to make sure we're at a place where Chloe's ready.
Yeah.
So there's no rush on that. So that doesn't mean episodes of Kin and Tonic will stop. So I will be going solo for a little bit. So look forward to that.
If there's any suggestions you have for Grace, there's just unfortunately, we can't give you a certain time because I don't know what to predict. I might come back within 2 weeks. I might be back in a month. I think we're planning for a month, and just to kind of see where that takes us.
Again, once you start seeing the solo episodes, you'll know that Chloe's baby boy will have been born. We're obviously excited about that. And also, long story short, we discussed this podcast before Chloe even got pregnant. Like, we're going to make drinks, we're going to kind of
a vision for it,
very loungy, coming up with the name and logo. And, it was around, the holidays were about to start and my birthday. So we're like, okay, maybe in the new year, this will be something fun. And then, literally on New Year's Eve or a few days prior, Chloe found out she was pregnant.
She found out the day after Christmas, but remember, we didn't tell Mom till New Year's.
Yes, you're correct. So it was just one of those things where it's like, well, we still kind of want to do this. So what do we do? And obviously it's an easy switch to just go with cocktail mocktails. But I feel like the last few weeks or the start of this podcast, which I'm kind of grateful for, because we're not professionals at this, obviously. And since, this episode 17, I believe. So doing this for 17 weeks, getting the right equipment, a new camera, and just taking all the kinks, or having all the kinks to see what works and what doesn't work. I almost feel like, not that I want to do seasons, but this feels like almost like season one. Like, have you ever watched like a season one of a show and it's like actually not good? Like, in the moment you're like, oh, nothing's wrong with it. And it's like, I think of like Parks and Rec, where it's like the first season or 2 seasons, you're like, oh, this isn't like,
it's like same probably with The Office and Friends. It's like the first couple episodes are kind of like
you're fine
pilot. They're trying to find their groove, and then the storylines get better, the characters develop,
and then like I expect for this podcast, then it has a worldwide fan base, longevity. So I say all this because I feel like the energy and the dynamic that
I'm hoping for the show.
We're hoping, and even just knowing, like, I know this kind of idea came from like, going to get drinks, having brunch, like the conversations and like the in-depth stuff. And honestly, Chloe's a lot more chattier and like goofy. Like, I just feel like we're not seeing Chloe shine enough. And then I'm overcompensating. So I feel like I'm talking way more and like almost have this awkwardness because I feel like I have to do more. So I feel like the dynamic isn't what it should be.
It's not what it should be. It's just we had a vision for it at a time where like we saw it being more of like a chatty girl chat like podcast, and it's just been more calm than not that we're going to be crazy and like all of a sudden like things are going to get rowdy, but it's like we just have a different dynamic when we have a little tips in us. And so I think,
and unfortunately, you know, as most people like, the vibe is never like 100% right when one person is drinking and
Exactly.
the other person isn't. And obviously you being pregnant, also your energy's lower. Like, and that's totally okay. But just knowing you for like obviously all my life, that isn't like a true reflection of yourself.
Baseline.
It's not your baseline. Like, this is out of character
if I was
for you.
A sober person, pregnancy is still making me feel different than I was before. You know what I mean? It's like, if I just was like a sober person, my personality would still come out because my energy would be back.
Yeah.
Because I'm not growing a human. So it's not like, oh, she's got to be drunk to be fun, or she's got to like drink to like be silly. It's like, no, but I'm also not only not drinking, but I'm also,
your energy levels
are going to, you know, creating a human. And so we just want to, you know, showcase like what the true vision for the podcast was supposed to be. And it's just two girls like, you know, having a cocktail. It's like basically like happy hour. Like, we wanted it to be a happy hour vibe.
And also the reason why we didn't wait, because one, that would have been 9 months. And, you know, it's, I think, unless, especially me, it's like I'm kind of impulsive.
It would
It's
have
like
been harder to get into it.
Get into it. And it's just like, it gets to a point where it's like, you know, I don't want to do this anymore. You know, you kind of have to, what's the saying? Strike when the iron's hot. Like, as soon as you have it, you're motivated and you want to go. You just got to dive in, rip the Band-Aid off. So I'm excited for when you come back, because it's like, finally you can drink. And like, I mean, it's going to be a little bit of a celebration. Do you have any ideas of what you want for your first drink back? I kind of have an idea.
What?
Well, I was thinking, so our first episode, we made Cosmos.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like to kind of bring it around, I'm hoping, I don't know, I have a YouTube channel I've had since high school and been inconsistent, like here and there, wanting to start up again. It's not going to be a regular thing, but like every once in a while, I would like to just post like whatever. And again, I feel like with the podcast and not caring about views and subs and just doing it because I want to, I feel like has given me the freedom to like make videos or do, you know, other things like that. So anything else before I talk about my nose shop?
That's basically it. I'm sure any other updates, just follow along on our socials for those. And
I'm still in sort of recovery from my nose job. So what do we think? What do we think? I'm playing a little trick on you. It's a little joke, a little laugh. I technically got a nose job, but the type of nose job was a septoplasty. Woo.
So there's no actual change to her nose shape or
just the inside.
Yeah, just the internal stuff.
So if you're not,
girl couldn't breathe over here.
Yeah, and I think that's also going to help the podcast, because I sometimes be editing these podcasts and I'm just like, I don't know if I'm just super, like most people are super sensitive to my voice, but I'm like, nails on a chalkboard, shut up. Like what I was saying.
Voice sounds any different.
What I was saying, well, I'm still congested. So I am still congested, and, you know, that's going to be for probably another week or so. But like, imagine it just doesn't change. Yeah. Not that I'm expecting it to, but like, I really couldn't breathe a lot of times. Like, if anyone's familiar with Hannah Montana, there was like a character who I deeply related to, who she'd be like, I have sinus issues. And I'm like, girl, same. So has been a long time coming. Always over the last year, they've like escalated to the point where like I, you know, was bedridden sometimes, like with migraines and other things. So it was something I was a little scared of, because I hear it's really intense. And spoiler alert, it was. I don't know why I want to talk about it, but let me talk about it. If you're someone who doesn't like I'm not going to be too graphic, but if you're someone who doesn't like medical talk, I guess like maybe skip 10 minutes. Long story short, I was really nervous about it. A septoplasty basically helps if you have a deviated septum. So one side of like your nasal passage is blocked, causes like breathing issues, whatever. From what I've read, like Reddits and stuff, and it was always like, worst thing I ever went through, 100% worth it. So I'm like, okay, like, and it, you know, it just have to.
Everyone's tolerance is different. So you're like, is it someone's tolerance or is it mine?
And I've been through stuff, and I would say I have a high pain tolerance. You know, I've, I had 5 teeth removed during my wisdom teeth, procedure. I've been in car accidents. I've been I've had a lot of intensive kind of surgeries or, things like that. So I would consider myself like I have a higher pain tolerance. So might be okay. So I went in for, an evaluation a couple weeks ago to see, if this is something we can move forward with an ears, nose, and throat doctor. And they do, of course, a scan. It was just funny because when the nurse practitioner put like my photos up on the screen, she was like, this is what it should look like. And then this is what yours is. And I swear, it felt like she didn't, of course, say these words, but it was pretty much like, you're fucked. Exactly. Like, it was just like.
And didn't she say that?
Yeah, your shit's fucked.
And then didn't she say too, like, I'm going to like, schedule you to get this taken care of ASAP. It wasn't like, oh, is it bothering you? Is this something that you'd like want to hold off on? Well, it was basically like, I'm really advising you to do something.
Yeah, like it was kind of no question. Of course, before she came in, and while I'm sure the scan was processing, you have like a different kind of nurse, like, what are you feeling, this and that. So as soon as she came in and read those notes, like within 8 minutes, she was just saying like there's different treatments. She's just explaining. She's like, you can do this, you can do that. She's like, yeah, but like those are kind of temporary solutions. I think you should just get it and let's get you scheduled like right now. And like she was like, we could do it in a week, but that was during Chloe's baby shower. And I'm like, next available.
Could you imagine if you did it before then?
I mean, even if I didn't think it was as bad as it ended up being, like I would still have like, bandages or, whatever. I had it August 5th. What scared me, however, was during this evaluation, she went over like what to expect and what it is and like kind of like a diagram of, what to expect. And then my heart sank because she's like, there's no anesthesia. Like we give you like, obviously like medicine to, numb you.
She was describing like what you were going to go through. You're like, wait, I don't get anesthesia for this?
Right.
Sure?
Because everything, I've ever had, tonsils removed, wisdom teeth, all this kind of stuff that I felt like were minor, especially like the wisdom teeth, to know like I wasn't getting that, which kind of scared me. But I'm like, clearly it'll be fine. And I remember when I was telling you about it, you were like, oh, when I got my wisdom teeth out, like I had the same kind of thing and I was out. But also Chloe can sleep on a plane and has no problem just sleeping wherever. I was a little nervous about that. A lot of times I'm wrongly nervous. This wasn't one of those cases.
You're like more underprepared, I feel.
I feel like I was underprepared, and
maybe for a good thing, because if they would have told you, but even if they would have said like, hey, Grace, like you're going to be I would have blood constantly. You'd be like, okay, so what?
At this point, I was like, I'm here. Like, I'm not going to be like, never mind.
And also, our cousin went through it, and she never made it sound like it was a bad thing. Well, she told me she went back to work after one day.
So
that must have been a different.
That makes me think that it wasn't the same thing, because at the very least, they're like, you're going to need 4 days. I was nervous about that. But they're like, we'll numb you. They have you take Percocet before you go, and then something to help with anxiety and calm you down. They have you take that. But then they advise you to like bring the pill bottle with you. So the assistant was just telling me, this is what to expect. Do you want to take another dose of that to help? And I was like, thank God I said yes. I keep saying long story short, and I'm not making it short. It just was awful, because it reminded me when you get like something done on your teeth, and even though they numb you, it's the sounds. And I'm still like feeling nauseous over the thought of some of the sounds, because what they do is, I'm hearing snipping. I'm hearing, it's all here.
It's like in your face. It's like, at least your mouth, it's like kind of removed, but like here is like your eyes, your cheeks.
It's the center of your world, like I feel like, I think people say that like that's your balance, like that's everything. So just the sounds, I'm just like, I don't like this. And then you do have the pressure and all this stuff. So that was kind of giving me a little bit of anxiety. I understand now probably why they want you awake, because like the name suggests, ear, nose, throat, that's all connected. So while they're doing this and they're putting fluid and they're flushing all like the mucus, blood, and all this stuff out, and even the numbing agent, it's all going down your throat. And I'm laying pretty much parallel, and it's all going down your throat. They do like a dentist have like the little sucker. So like you kind of can,
because if you swallowed all that, you could easily like,
and that's the thing, is like you can't just chill out. And even to help you even like fall asleep. You kind of have, well, you have to be aware. You're awake fitting into it. So again, it's not like, oh, I can relax and doze off. It's like, no, you kind of have to be lucid enough to also like do this. And this numbing shit's going down your throat too. So your throat and your whole mouth is becoming numb. And I would say maybe it's like an hour procedure. Fast forward, say the first 3 days weren't really that bad, right? Because, I had medicine, it was still kind of in that phase of...
You just had a procedure, so I'm going to feel type of way.
But it wasn't like, I don't know, like, I feel like at the end of the day, it just was okay. I feel like by the 3rd or 4th day, I didn't have to really wear a bandage the whole time. And then the tides turned because I ended up having to keep it for like, I think 6 days or 5 days, the splints. And
the standards went 4.
Is usually 4, but it was a weekend. So I had to do it that Monday to get them removed. That Saturday night, my nose just one side would not stop bleeding no matter what. Like it was just blood, blood, blood. And it was right before I had to go to sleep. So I was really like nervous. So like, of course, I made sure to like put like a bandage over it. I wake up the next morning and it's just like drenched, like it, the bandage, and I could just feel it in my mouth, feel it in my throat. So I take a shower and there's a rinse you have to do. Technically, you're not supposed to do it till a little bit after, but it was just so stuck up in there. So I'm like, maybe I just do it once. I'm in the shower, it's hot,
flush a
little out. Because it was only one side, and that's something like it just would not stop. And so there's an after hours number you can call. So mom called for me, and
your mommy called for you.
My throat was hoarse too. So, but anyway, yes, she did. Thanks, Mom. Spoke to someone and she just said, there's this spray we gave you. There's like, they gave you like nose clamps and they just like suggested what to do. And it just sucked because they're like, clamp your nose for 45 minutes, but you have splints in your nose and it hurts. So it's like the clamp wasn't working. So for 45 minutes, I was clamping my nose shut. It hurts. It was, again, kind of building some anxiety. And then I did all that and nothing. Like it didn't stop bleeding and freaking out. Like I'm anemic. Like I'm just like, it's all getting to my head. I ran out of like the pain medicine and I'm just like, everything was just happening. And so when we called back, we just said the situation and she just said, not life threatening. It's not, it just.
This isn't a complication of your procedure.
Exactly. So like that kind of helped, but I was still feeling, anxiety and stuff like that. So at first, because mom was like, is there any way you could just send like 2 more pills? But it's like Percocet, so they didn't want to, of course. And I get it because it's a controlled substance, but it's like, again, I know people abuse it. And I know that's like one of those things where a lot of people, serious things. So I understand their hesitancy. And so she's like, send me photos of what the blood looks like, this and that, and we'll go from there. So did that. She ended up saying like, it looks normal. And then she's like, I talked to the doctor, she's sending you just enough to get you through the day. And then the next day when I get the splints out, it was just really rough. I was exhausted. I had to take like anti-anxiety medicine that I already had. And then next day, again, went to get the splints out. And the way it was just 180. Like, obviously, it wasn't 100% better, but...
I would say so. I mean, even just talking and texting with you, like, Grace usually texts back within a normal manner. I mean, she would take, like, hours.
Like, and the thing is, like,
I don't even remember a conversation that we had either, too. So I was like...
And it was a more serious...
It was kind of a more serious conversation, but it was like, yeah, no, but your responsiveness was like night and day. Like,
and you know what the funny thing is? Of course, there was periods where like obviously I fell asleep, but I wasn't like asleep for more than 2 hours at a time. Sometimes I just was like staring, like no.
When I walked into the room, you were just like
no TV on,
no TV on. Like you might as well have been like this,
meditating.
I was just like,
I'm like it. Well,
if it wasn't for the fact that like you slowly opened your eyes. I was like, oh, okay.
And I'm sitting
straight up. And she's just like,
when will it end?
I was just like, what is going on? I was like, because I didn't want to bother you, but I was like,
well, it's like, have you ever been so overstimulated where you just like have to pause the TV and just stare into the wall? Like I'm not on my phone. I'm not on anything. I'm just like, I need to think in silence for a little bit.
Like, well, because you said like screens and stuff were kind of hurting your eyes and everything like that. So it's almost like you didn't want to be on your phone or watch TV or whatever.
And I think the worst part of it,
other than normal sickness where you just like couch rot, you were like,
well, and that's what made me the most upset because I was looking forward to being like,
he's like, I had shows to watch.
I literally banked shows and movies that I wanted to watch. I was going to get into Buffy the Vampire Slayer that my coworker wanted me to get into. And I was just like, I was really upset because I was kind of looking forward to like being high and recovering and taking some time out. Like, this is my vacation. I used PTO for this, you know? So the fact that I didn't get to do that, like, I'm like, that was the worst part. Bloody nose, whatever.
Because it's like, I kind of wanted to, like you said, like, you know, disconnect, just enjoy my like time off. And it's like, I couldn't even do that. I couldn't even watch the freaking shows I wanted to watch.
Ultimately, that's that. I go in for a follow-up in a couple days.
You seem night and day. I mean, obviously you're still stuffed up, so you don't have the full result. But
so I would say
any changes?
A little bit. I think the biggest change is it almost reminds me of someone who's like maybe deaf in one ear. Or like, have you ever had like an AirPod, one dies, or like you could still hear the music? But no, but like I would say it's this feeling is the equivalent of like one AirPod is out, where it's like you still hear whatever music or podcast you listen to, but then when you put the other one, you're like, it's a whole like enhanced sound. I would say my sense of smell is like enhanced, and thankfully every day has been progressing, which is obviously what you want. I'm over the hump right now. I'm still experiencing what I would say like cold like symptoms, like obviously I don't have, but just the congestedness, a little bit sore throat. So I'm still not out of the woods, but at the very least every day is better, which is obviously a good case. So here's to my nose job. So since that's a little bit out the way, kind of make this like a full episode, we decided to
throw in a couple am I the assholes or am I overreacting stories. So we've got a few of those that we'll respond to and
wrap up this episode, say goodbye to Chloe. Say goodbye to Chloe and go from there. So how many do you have? I only have 2.
I have a few from before, but then I also a few that I found that are more recent. So I might, depending on which ones jump out at me, we can do 2 each.
Do you want to go first or do you want me to go first? My hands are sticky. Making sure.
Yeah, last time I wasn't talking into the mic.
Yeah, if you notice the last 2 episodes, Chloe had her mic behind her and speaking like an ASMR influencer. I was like, Chloe, I have to use the camera audio now.
I think we were nervous because my husband was home. Normally we kick him out for the podcast days and we're like, we don't want to be judged. Not that he would. We don't want him to like walk in on us being like, whatever. So because nobody's heard us record yet. So it's still kind of like our secret.
We're insecure.
All right. So the title is, Am I the Asshole for Deliberately Giving My Chronically Late Friend the Wrong Time?
I saw this one.
Did you?
But I was going to pick it, but I didn't. So
perfect.
All right.
So I, a 20-year-old female, have a friend who is chronically late. I'm not talking about 5 or 10 minutes either. And if you remember from my pet peeve episode,
maybe that's why
it's like really annoying. And it's not like I can be late too, but I don't like.
It's okay if I'm late.
It depends on the situation. Like if I know that there's wiggle room, or if I know that it's no one's waiting on me, right? Or like for example, like when we've had like for holidays, for example, and it's like, oh, like we're gonna probably get together around 1. It's like if I show up at 1:30, no one's waiting on me, right? It's like it's kind of like you come and you. If it was like we're eating at 1, then yeah, I'll be there before. But we always know our family gatherings, everyone's like mingling and whatnot,
and we're gonna be together for a long time.
Exactly.
So there really isn't a set.
But if it's like we have like somewhere to be, a deadline, like
reservation,
and I'm never late for work, like things like that. So it's like those types of things was what I'm referring to. Anyways, okay, I'm not talking about 5 or 10 minutes late either. If we agree to meet at 6, she'll usually show up around 6:45 or 7. We've talked about it so many times, and every time she apologizes and says she'll do better. It's caused problems before. She was almost an hour late to another friend's birthday dinner, and we lost our reservation. She was also late to a friend's going away party and missed most of it because everyone had already started saying their goodbyes by the time she showed up. Once she was supposed to pick me up for a doctor's appointment and showed up 50 minutes late, so I had to take an Uber and sleep. I had to pay a cancellation fee to reschedule it. I can name at least 20 such instances from the top of my head that she's done. The thing that really gets me is that if someone else is late, even by 10, 15 minutes, she will sometimes make a huge deal about it. It's happened maybe twice, so I don't want to exaggerate it, but it definitely feels hypocritical given how she's often late herself. At this point, our friend group has basically learned to expect it from her. Last week, a few of us were going out to dinner. We had a reservation for 6:30, so I told everyone to be there by 6:15. She said she'd leave her house at 6. At 6:20, she texted saying she was leaving now. out. I was honestly fed up, so I DM'd her that the reservation was postponed at 7 instead. Everyone else knew what I'd done. We got there at 6:15, had dinner, and when she finally showed up at 7:35, she was obviously pissed that we had already eaten. She asked why I lied to her, and I told her that when I gave her the actual time, she doesn't show up until an hour later anyway. She said that was completely different and that I deliberately set her up to be late. She also said she trusts me to give her the correct time and that I had no right to teach her a lesson. I told her I was tired of constantly waiting for her and having everyone else's plans revolve around her lateness. She called me manipulative and said she doesn't want to make plans with me anymore.
And don't.
And then, right.
I have a few thoughts. One, they're young, so that's not excusing anything, but this is where I get into like the lesson. I think it's a hard lesson your friend needs to learn. And I know she's defensive about the lesson, but it's like, it's an age thing in terms of like you're immature. Mm-hmm. Maybe you come from a family where it's no big deal, but that's not the real world. Because I feel like more people than not hate that. Mm-hmm. Like clearly your whole friend group hates it. You know, everyone shows up respectfully. I wonder if her friend shows up late to things that are important to her. Mm-hmm. It claims that she does, or like, is she late to work? Is she late? Like that, wasting people's time, especially like professionally or even not professionally, is such an indicator that you are a bit narcissistic. And also, it is just completely not okay because the world doesn't revolve around you, you know, like I know this is a random example, but like I think of like America's Next Top Models. Remember like how hard they would come down on the girls, like especially during the go-sees, and they're like, you're like 2 minutes late, or everything costs money. Like you cannot be late. Like we won't work with you because you're late. And, you know, even if it's felt extreme, it's totally true. And at the end of the day, even if it didn't matter per se, if it didn't matter per se, I think it's just a representation of your character. And if you're not someone who wants to have a negative character, I think that you should work on it. I hope that because she is young, and I think she called you out because it's almost like you're embarrassed. Mm-hmm. Like anytime, like, you know, people want to be defensive, they're embarrassed. She felt like you pulled one on her. But at the end of the day, either you'll fizzle out as friends because she can't handle it, or maybe come to her and just say,
I also want to know, why are you so late? Like, are you late because you got ready late, or
time management?
Time management? Or are you just someone that's like chronically late to like everything in life? And I also don't like the fact that she was trying to teach her a lesson. Like, if anything, if I'd do the opposite. I'd be like, okay,
don't come.
If like dinner was at 6, I'd be like, we're meeting at 5:30. Like,
so you were to the opposite.
I would try her to like come early. You know, because we've done that with clients before where we're like, oh, your appointment's at this time, and it's really at another time because they are chronically late. So it actually trains them to be early. Like,
I will say, when I just read the headline, I thought that was the premise until you said,
yeah, I was surprised that she did.
So she
like purposely made her late. Which it doesn't make her look good.
Well, and ultimately, I think that's
proves the point.
Well, I think that sets you up, I guess, because she was probably hurt, especially with like the doctor's appointment. That does set you up to be an asshole and her not to receive it, because then I feel like she wouldn't call you a liar if it was earlier, because you can always scapegoat like, oh, they told us to be here an hour, or like, oh, I got it mixed up. Like, that's easier. And then she can still enjoy the dinner or whatever the case is. So I would either go that route in the future or have that honest conversation. And if she can't hang and she doesn't want to learn from this, and I feel like when you do it in front of other people, again, that never works. Like when you call someone out, people are much more receptive when it's just one-on-one. If she's not, again, I feel like it's such a reflection of a character. Like, what else is she not going to care about? Like, if you have a baby, is she going to care to show up? Life moments, your wedding, is she going to show up late to your wedding and not care?
I mean, people have to be held accountable. So it's like, if she's chronically late, then like, you know, not that I want to like gang up on the girl, but it's like, if all her friends are like, why are you late? Like, you got to be better. Like, this is like not cool. Like, there's many important scenarios. And I'd love to know, she never mentioned it, but I'd love to know, is she apologetic? Did she make excuses? Like I'd love to know, like, if she was kind of just like, especially the doctor appointment thing. I'd be like, you know, does she know like what you had to do, like that you had to pay and like reschedule, and like what that actually meant?
Because it seems like, okay, a dinner is a dinner. It's like, whatever. But like a doctor's appointment, like you have to know, like that's like any kind of appointment, whether it's hair or not, like, you know, if you don't make it, you're done.
Well, that's my biggest pet peeve. This is like unrelated to the post, but the other day I was watching it because like I follow other providers that do like skincare and hair and things like that. And the girl was showing a story about how the girl was like running late, or she's like, hey, your appointment was 10 minutes ago, just like checking to see like how everything's going. She's like, oh, I'm leaving my house now. I'll be there in 20 minutes. She's like, well, unfortunately, since you're already 10 minutes late, that's putting you like 30 minutes late for your appointment. My grace period is 15 minutes. So we're going to have to reschedule.
And guess what? I'm sure she has someone right.
And yeah,
the chain reaction.
The girl's like, oh, well, I'm only like 10 minutes away. Like she kept changing the increments. Like, oh, no, I'm right around the corner. Oh, and she's like, well, I'm sorry, but I got my
might as well turn right around that corner.
Well, my statement still stands. Like, I still can't take you now because you're not like at the 10-minute mark, you weren't saying I'm parking, I'm walking in. Like that's still within the grace period. But if you're still 20 minutes away from already being 10 minutes late.
And then to get out the car and do this.
And then a lot of places that make you put a deposit down because of a no call, no show type of situation. And she wanted her deposit back. And she's like, well, my website says the deposit's only for
48 hours.
Yeah, 48 hours.
Which is typical of most places. And again, it's that
why people are so like entitled.
Well, it's the disrespect of your time. And this is even worse because it's disrespect of money, because it's like ultimately she is losing money.
Yeah.
Like if she could, she would want to take you for your money. Yeah. But she's sacrificing money to make sure her professionalism and not interfering with other clients.
She takes you late, then she's running late for her next client. It's a chain reaction, and that's not fair to the client that showed up earlier on time. Yeah. As a provider, like you don't want to have to rush a client, even if, because I've had clients be like, oh, just do what you can in the time that you have. And it's like, then what's the point?
And you're not going to get a happy result. And then
you're not going to be happy.
So what's the point? And I'm not going to give you a discount.
Oh, hell no.
So ultimately, I don't think she's the asshole. I will say she did set herself up a little bit to
look like one
and not get what she wanted, like not get the reaction she wanted. I think if she wants to do that, or if anyone out there wants to do something like that, especially if conversation is not getting through, just do the whole early thing. I think
I know a better way to handle it.
Even if she is like a little annoyed, it's kind of almost like, gotcha. Like, hey, you're not, you can make it more
joke. Yeah. Like, oh, well, like, you're never on time. Hey, I thought if I'd.
Or it's like, hey, how does it feel to be on time and eat dinner with us? And kind of make it a silly thing.
But doing it the opposite was more like a gotcha moment. And I think it gave her the leg to stand on to be mad at you.
And make you look like an asshole. Yeah. So you never want to do that. So. You're not an asshole.
I just got some growing up to do.
Yeah, it's kind of an interesting one. I feel like last Am I the Asshole episode, I kind of picked more like hitting home or whatever. So I wanted to pick kind of like silly.
Something
random or just like, what? So this one, of course, caught my eyes is, am I the asshole for going to the police on my sister? She says, this is my first post, so please bear with me. I'm 26 female. I accidentally left my iPad in my sister-in-law's car. Oh, so it's a sister-in-law. So I left my iPad in my sister-in-law's car, and she went into it without my permission and sent explicit photos she found on it to my mother.
What?
I am honestly mortified. Her and my brother tried to sit me down and have an intervention with me about the things she saw on my iPad. For reference, there was nothing extremely wild on my iPad. I'm a 26-year-old single woman, so you can read between the lines here. I also used to be a midnight ballerina 2 years ago, but I don't feel like she was right to go into my personal device just because it was in her possession. It's definitely not right for her to send explicit pics, videos to my mother. I want to press charges and file a restraining order or something, but I've never been through anything like this. For reference, the iPad was locked with a passcode and fingerprint, as well as some of the applications she definitely went through, which are all individually locked because my daughter uses my iPad to play her games. So I don't know how she got the passcode. I think the reason why she was able to guess the passcode because it's the year my daughter was born, but the iPad was definitely not unlocked.
Well, isn't that kind of considered revenge porn or whatever they call it when you like send like nudes to people? That's like technically illegal, right?
Well, that's why she'd probably have like somewhat of a leg to stand on if she pressed charges. My thing is like when she says explicit, she doesn't necessarily say like explicit of her. So I don't know if it was just like, or like pictures of like.
Did she say it was pictures of her?
She just said she had explicit videos. She didn't say it was of her, but then she's
alluded to it because she's like, well, I'm single.
And it's like sending to your mother. It's just, in any case, I don't know what the point is because she is 26.
Yeah.
Like, what is, like, that's why I was thinking maybe, the thing I think of is like, maybe they're really religious and it's just like, who is she sending this to? Does she have an OnlyFans? They knew she was like,
that's why we needed that month.
Well, because she was like a midnight ballerina stripper. Maybe they're like, she's doing more sex work. Like, whatever the case is, like, maybe they're like, we thought she stopped.
Heard that phrase, Midnight Valkyrie.
I like it. I like it. I think ultimately maybe they were like happy she stopped that lifestyle, but here she is back into it. But it's like, what is it going to achieve? Like, she's nearly 30. Who cares? I could see if like she was a minor or like, you know, something that is like illegal and you do need your mom to step in and tell you it's not right, whether it's porn.
Yeah, if she was like underage and it's like, oh my gosh, like we have to stop this because she's doing this. But like she's 26 years old. Like,
and also when I read more, she has a daughter. She has sex clearly like a sexual person because she has a daughter. And I don't know if it's like because they know her daughter uses the iPad. It's like, look, she has it like so explicitly on her iPad. But like, why would you feel the need to even go? Like, what was the motivation to go through the iPad in the first place? Because ultimately it's not like she went in there with suspicion that there was
like,
stuff
if you
up there.
left your iPad in my car, I wouldn't go through it. I would just be like, here's your iPad. You left it my...
Clearly she was a sneaky person and wanted like...
She sounds shitty. Like she's clearly... First of all, she's snooping through your shit. And second of all, like, who do you think you are sending my personal photo? First of all, going through it. And who do you think you are sending it to someone else? Like, what was her motive? Like, oh, like I would love to know. Like, did she ask her like, why'd you do that? Like, what was your motivation?
And when like the whole intervention thing, that's what makes me think like they're probably like religious or whatever the case is, because it's like we need to sit you down and don't have sex and don't have porn. And it's just like
maybe they disapprove of her lifestyle and like they were like she probably told him, oh, I don't do that anymore, and then she found the
even so she's 26. Like even if she was like 21, like. Who cares? And it's like, I don't know how the mother is like that, but I would be, even if I didn't approve of like my daughter's lifestyle or whatever, I'd be like, why the fuck are you sending me porn? Like like, I didn't consent to see this.
Mm-hmm. Like, yeah, as the mother, be like, I don't want to see this. Like,
and she kind of makes that like emphasis of like, you have no right to send that to my mother, not just because to tattle on me, but like, and it's like, who are you
to that?
Yeah, like you don't want to know, you know. So I mean, obviously you're not the asshole. I think you should press charges. It seems like you don't have like a great relationship with them. It's a lesson, not even just a lesson, but it's like, don't go through people's shit. Like you're not the righteous one.
Yeah, and you don't have the right to do that. Like you do deserve some kind of consequence.
Consequence. It's the consequence of your action.
My next one comes with a photo. This one is an am I overreacting one, and it's am I overreacting because my hairstylist decided what hairstyle looked better.
I know it's going to go more extreme, but I feel like I've had that before. You tell them what you want and they're like, well, actually.
Their own. So the girl has an inspo picture. It says the haircut looks decent, but there's one problem. It's absolutely not the haircut I asked for. I went to get my haircut and showed my hairstylist exactly how much I wanted taken off. I even pointed to where I wanted the length to sit because I was not trying to go super short. When she finished and turned me toward the mirror, my hair was way shorter than what we talked about. I told her it was shorter than I asked for, and she basically said, trust me, it looks better this way. See, I don't like that. And she says, girl, what? Maybe she genuinely thought it suited me better, but that wasn't really her decision to make. I specifically asked for a certain length. I got visibly annoyed, and she acted like I was overreacting because the haircut still looked good. Like, yes, maybe it looked fine, but I didn't ask you to freestyle on my head. Mad the asshole for being mad, even if the haircut technically looks good. Yeah, because she may think a pixie looks good on you, but you don't. It's not up to you. I have she needs your professional judgment. But.
I definitely have, like, I guess a devil's advocate approach to it. Off the bat, like the attitude of the hairdresser is not correct. Oh, it looks good. I do know just from like talking to hairstylists, and I don't know this girl's condition beforehand because we do run into people. I didn't get the color I wanted. It's like, girl, you've been using box dye. I can't do that. Or I think we've all been in that situation where it's like, oh, cut an inch off. And it's like, your hair is dead. I need to cut 3.
It's communication.
That's the problem, because I've been in situations where in the past and times, especially when I was really growing my hair out and dyeing my hair a lot, it only take an inch off. And I think some people don't realize how much an inch is too. And maybe it was a situation where her hair wasn't in the state to give her that look. Like maybe even if her hair is like, say, like to her boobs, and she's like, well, I'll only take an inch off, but it's like, then maybe it wouldn't be straight because you have dead ends. So like the only way to achieve that like straight look, not an angled look, but that straight look, is like literally you have to bring it here because not all your pieces, or it's too thin or too brittle, and that's not going to look good. Luckily with her situation from the photo, it does look good and she'll grow into it. I think the attitude, I'm going to do what I want, and just you're overreacting. There is a lot of discourse about your hairdresser probably was right. I'm going to assume. I don't think she would just not give you what you wanted. However, communication, you're not overreacting because hair is very sensitive, and I would be just as like upset if I didn't know what I was going to
It is short in the photo, and it looks like it has a lot more layers. I'd say if the hairstylist was, I don't want to say smarter, but if the hairstylist was a little more professional, I guess is a better word, she could be like, okay, I'm going to cut it exactly like the photo and you tell me what you think. Personally, I think to get that more of like that fullness, we need to take it a little bit shorter, but I'm just going to show you what it looks like exactly like it. That's what I would do.
That was good.
And then if she's like, oh, like, yeah, you're right, I do trust you, but you have to communicate. You can't just like take matters into your own hands. I've had clients too. It's like, they're laying on the facial table and I'm asking them what their concerns are. They're telling me, oh, I have blackheads, and I'm seeing, you know, or they're like, oh, my sun damage. And I'm like seeing that they have like a ton of blackheads, or vice versa. They're like, I'm seeing the sun damage, or I'm seeing the wrinkles. And that's not their concerns. You can't like dictate what's going to look better for somebody or tell them what they should want. You could suggest things, but if they're coming in and their concern is blackheads, but you see something else, then you address the blackheads. And then you talk about other ways of getting, you know, helping their skin. Just like she could have said, I'm going to just say right now, the kind of hair you have, I don't know if we're going to be able to achieve that, but I'm going to attempt it and we'll kind of slowly work into this together. She should have just cut it exactly like the photo. And then if the girl was like, oh, it doesn't look how I thought it would, she could say, well, to be honest with you, I wanted to give you what you asked for, but my professional opinion is that if we did X, Y, Z, it might be a little shorter than you're expecting, but it's going to grow out a certain way if we do it that way.
And by like the next appointment or two,
your hair's too thick to look like that, so I have to thin it out with some layers, like, you know, and like you said, like if you go from like being a jet dyed black hair to platinum blondes, you have to communicate with your client that there's going to be that transition period where you're going to have the orange hair. And it's the same thing. It's like, we're not getting you to that level. So if that haircut took a few more appointments to get there, then she should have said that. But for her to be like, well, it looks good, so why are you mad? Again, like if someone cuts you a pixie and you wanted your hair here, just because maybe you pulled off and you look good, that doesn't mean that's what you asked.
It's the Mia Farrow haircut of it all. It's another America's Next Top Model reference. She gave that one girl with really long hair that like pixie cut, and she was obsessed with like Mia Farrow and Rosemary's Baby. Like the thing is, the girl did look good, but it's like
I was thinking about America's Next Top Model in this scenario, because there were so many times it's like, girl, we're going to take your hair and we're going to cut it into a pixie. And it's like, because she has a striking face, but that was for like the competition.
And at the end of the day, 99% of the time, Tyra was right. There was many times she wasn't, but like she was.
Yeah.
This just reminds me of like back in the day when I really wanted like the scene haircut. So like my hair is more naturally like wavier, curlier in some parts. And I really wanted the scene straight hair with like the layers like all chopped up to here. And like probably I didn't have like the right hairdressers, but also they're just like, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. Your hair is not going to work well. And, you know, finally found someone who could do it. But our hairdresser, we go to the same person. Times I wanted like shorter baby bangs, or even when I got like a little bit of layers, she starts off long to be like, do you want to go shorter?
Yeah.
Like
every time I've wanted to add something different to my hair, she's like, well, it will be subtle. You can always add more, but you can't take.
Well, even like my face framing, it was just very like, she was very communicative of, you know, it's going to look weird. I'm going to cut it weird. It's going to fall good. And then it was like, okay, I did it. Do you want it shorter? And even when I was like, yeah, go shorter, she's like, I'm not going to go too short. Because in the pic, my inspo pic, it was a little shorter, but I don't have like the ability to have more face framing bangs like Chloe does. I don't think it's going to work with what you have. Face shape, like whatever the case is, let's keep it long for now. And it was very much next time you come in, we could see where we're at. So you're not overreacting. I do think maybe
it wasn't like you asked for your money back, or I mean, maybe you did, but I could see the annoyance is not an overreaction.
I think also knowing where she's coming from, ultimately, no matter what, she's not overreacting. But like, I also get annoyed for like hairstylists, is because I feel like it's always goes viral on TikTok where it's like, my hairdresser didn't give me what I wanted, and it's like, baby girl, you can't have that, right?
Or you brought in a picture of AI and it was like a wig or something.
The asshole, but I do think maybe some more context is needed. But ultimately, you didn't get what you wanted. She didn't communicate. Doesn't really matter.
Yes.
All right. So this last one is, am I the asshole for not getting my daughter-in-law coffee because she hates tea? Now, this one was just really weird. I couldn't understand the motive. The mother-in-law did not. The daughter-in-law who loves coffee didn't get the mom tea. This will make more sense when I read. This feels really stupid, and I need to know if I'm the problem here or not. My son seems to think I am the problem. My daughter-in-law loves coffee. She's the type of person that will go get coffee every morning. It is not uncommon that she goes out to coffee. She'll pick up coffee for other people as well, which is nice. That's why it's like weird going forward. The issue is she will never get me a tea or any tea lattes. As she puts it, it's leaf water, and she doesn't want to waste her money on it. I am asking her to get maybe a $5 thing of tea if she's already picking up everyone's $8 fancy coffees. I am asking for just like a tea latte or even a nice tea that I literally don't have the ability to make at home. So she comes back with everyone's drink but mine. It is really frustrating, especially on a trip because I will be driving most of the time. She takes everyone's orders and goes in while I am either getting gas or snacks for the trip and come back with the drinks, but not my tea. So I have to go in myself and get my tea. There have been so many times she asked in the group chat if anyone wants something from Starbucks. I tell her what I want, and then she comes back again with everyone's drink but mine. So she does this all the time. I've tried talking to her, but it doesn't help. She just claims I can make tea at home. To the issue, I'm going over to babysit the grandkids for my son and daughter, so 4 adults. I sent a text saying I was stopping at Starbucks and asked if they wanted anything. This is the exact same scenario of what she does. They gave me their orders and I decided that I wouldn't get my daughter-in-law's drink to make my point. I got to where everyone was, and sorry, the person typing this doesn't have that great a grammar. I got to where everyone was and gave everyone their drinks besides my daughter-in-law. She was pissed off, and I pointed out this is the exact same thing she does with me all the time. She told me it wasn't the same and I can make tea at home. I told her she can also make coffee at home, and the pot was right there. We got into a fight, and my son told me to apologize and get her drink. I told him no, and I'm tired of this. I've spoken to them multiple times, and if she doesn't change what she does, I will never get her drink again. They left after I was babysitting, but I'm still hearing about it. Isn't that weird?
That's so weird. What do you care what she drinks? First of all, it's cheaper than what you were already going to buy her. That's someone's preference. Like, if our mom is also not a coffee drinker, and I would never be like, hey Grace, like I'm stopping at Starbucks, or like, what do you guys want? Oh, I'm not going to get mom because she wants tea. That's like so weird. Well, what if she wants like a acai refresher, or what if she wants like?
Well, it's just like, what's the beef with tea? Like, does it make you like? Weird. And she's like, I can make it at home, but it's like you can make coffee at home.
But she also said that there's teas and stuff that she can't like make at home. But it's like, it's one thing if you're getting like a black tea. It's like, well, you have Lipton at home. Like, did you really need black tea from Starbucks? It's like, maybe either way, it's like it's like, why are you dying on that hill?
Especially if it's weird because it's like she's seemingly generous to like get like, spend like close to $50+ on getting people drinks and even asking. I think that's very considerate. So it's like, is there something deeper rooted? Yeah. Because it's like your mother-in-law and
something.
Like,
and especially the way the husband stepped up was like, you need to go buy my wife her coffee now and apologize to her, but it doesn't seem like he ever stood up for his mom in that way.
Yeah,
why wouldn't you get my mom a tea? Who cares if it's like not something you like? And what does it matter if it's what you like? Like, is every coffee drink that you're getting someone something you would order? Like, I pick up coffee for my coworkers. It's like I wouldn't order what they order, but like I'm gonna, there's something there.
Well, that's the thing. Is like I don't understand the motive, and ultimately she's asking, "Am I the asshole that I did the same?" And it's like, no, I guess like today's episode or like the ones we're picking is like teaching people lessons.
Tit for tats.
Tit for tats. And it's like, should you always tit for tat? But I think it's kind of necessary because she said she did try talking. If she's like, I didn't try talking, I never brought this up, and it's coming out of left field, even if like you're technically right, like I could see where it's like you're not setting yourself up correctly. But if you've talked, you've been dismissed, your son is just like dismissing your feelings, I think it's totally fine to be like, see, doesn't it suck? Because maybe like the daughter-in-law, and she's a mother, so because they have kids, so I'm just like, what if your kid wants tea? Are you gonna be like, sorry, you can't have tea?
Yeah, exactly.
So I just feel like immaturity. I just feel like maybe there's something going on
there. I think she's being spiteful because it really makes no other sense. Because if you're already there, it's not like she's saying, hey, on your way over, get me a tea, and like not getting anything for anyone else. If she's already at the coffee shop
asking,
and you're asking to order,
and it's
like
cheaper.
And honestly, if you know your mother-in-law doesn't like coffee, then maybe don't ask it in a group setting. Like if you want to like be like, oh, I don't want to get her the tea. I don't understand what reason you would have for that, but like, you know, you're texting her.
You're purposely excluding her.
Well, you're asking her and then you're like purposely like not doing what you ask. It'd be like, oh, Grace, I'm gonna make you a drink, and then like making myself one and then being like, oh. Well.
Or like at a party, it's like you're making everyone else's drink.
Mm-hmm.
You're making the same drink, but I'm like, actually, can I have a different one? And it's like,
yeah, there's definitely something there.
You're not the asshole. There is an edit. I didn't read it all the way through. Basically, they did have a talk. It is resolved. So they did have a talk. She apologized, and it didn't go into depth about what the issue is. Doesn't need to, but it seems like it's on the up and up. So this tit for tat. All right. So I think this is a good place to stop, which is sad because I feel like Chloe and I were really kind of on a good roll, and you know she won't be back for a little bit. But when she's back,
better than ever.
I was gonna say, but when she is back, it'll be really exciting.
Someone's mom. That's so weird.
I'm a mom. I'm a mommy. And is that
you didn't even watch?
I didn't even watch it.
But yeah, no. So it's gonna be so crazy, but I'm super excited, and I can't wait to come back and update everybody on things and have a real drink.
Hell to the motherfucking yes. Thank you guys for tuning into this week's episode. Make sure to follow and subscribe to wherever our podcast is. Our links are down in the description below. And other than that, I think we're here for the last cheers for a while.
Cheers to season 1, as Grace says.
Cheers.